Hey guys, I'm so excited because today it's time to put together my seasonal palette basket for the fall. I know the calendar will technically tell you that we still have a month of summer, but in my world, September 1st marks the beginning of spooky season and I'm so excited. So we are going to go through my collection together and pick out all of my favorite fall palettes. We're going to put them here in this basket, which I got from Dollar Tree, and it's so cute. This will stay on top of my vanity so that I can have easy access to these palettes, and I've been rotating my palettes out seasonally like this since the spring of this year, which, by the way, if you are living in the southern hemisphere and spring is on the way, then I'll link my spring palette video below if you want some inspo for the season that you're in. But the seasonal palette basket has been a great way to keep my palette collection feeling fresh each season. I really do like to switch up my makeup with the seasons, and the fall is definitely when I start to lean into more neutral looks again. I love a good neutral brown smoky eye in the fall. I also love a lot of warm tones in the fall and a little bit of color here and there as well. It's so funny because today's look ended up not very fall at all, but actually my cats picked this makeup and I filmed this look for my patrons and channel members. That video is now out on the Patreon and the channel membership, so if you're interested in checking that out, both of those will be linked below. But let's go ahead and now fill up this basket with some beautiful fall palettes. I'm so excited. Let's go. Alright, got some beautiful natural light for these shots. That's exciting. So starting off with this first drawer, I have these palettes and then another drawer of larger palettes below it. I don't think I'll have too many repeats from my summer basket, but one that I do want to also include in my fall basket is the Sigma Ambiance palette. I have really fallen in love with this palette this summer. I love all these warm caramely brown tones, and I think that these will be beautiful in the fall as well. Lots of warm brown mattes in here, and then a lot of different types of shimmers. There's some cooler toned taupey shimmers, there's a really golden one, there's a rose gold, and I just love a brown smoky eye in the fall, and I think this is going to be perfect for those looks. So this one definitely is going to be included. I also want to include my Sigma and Angela Bright palette. To me, this is a perfect fall palette. There's even a shade in here called Autumn. That's this shade right here. I also love the deep green and the teal, the burgundy, the orange, lots of great fall tones in here. And honestly, I feel like I haven't gotten to play with this palette as much as I wanted to when I first got it, so I think I'll be able to create a lot of really fun fall looks with this. Another one of my favorite palettes for fall is my Anastasia Norvina palette. This has so many beautiful fall shades in it. Really, this whole like second half of the palette really gives me fall vibes. This might actually be my last hurrah with this palette because, as I've said, this is definitely getting old. I have had this since 2018, and some of the shadows, like I've noticed, especially the mattes, have gotten a little bit harder to blend, so that tells me the formula is probably on its last leg. I do feel like the shimmers still perform great, so I want to keep using it until I just can't anymore. But yeah, it's been a while since I've played with this one, so let's put this one back in, see how it's performing, and at the end of the fall I may end up retiring this. But really looking forward to using this again because it has been a while since I've used Norvina. Alright, then over here I have this quad from Hard Candy. This is their monochromatic quad in the shade Purr, and I've been kind of saving this for the fall because I really love those kinds of like mauve-y, burgundy tones in the fall. This shimmer right here is really, really pretty. Definitely a little bit chunky, but it's this beautiful purple taupe. And then you have a softer, more pearly, light pink shimmer as well. So I think this will be a lot of fun. I also feel like I haven't given this a ton of love, so now will be a great time to pull it back out. Alright, I do want to pick one of these Ace Beauté Floral Collection palettes. I had Flora in my summer basket. Honestly, I'm thinking this one also looks really fall appropriate because this is like the evolution of a leaf turning colors. I think this actually might be the one. Begonia really looks like a spring palette to me, not so much a fall palette. So, and then there's Calla, which this one I'm thinking I'll put in my winter basket because this looks really fun for some holiday looks. So let's actually just put Flora back in. I think this one is actually going to be a nice addition. This is relatively new to my collection, and I know it has the word summer in the name, but the Alter Ego Midsummer palette, I've been thinking this palette also looks great for fall. Like these two shades right here definitely give me like kind of pumpkin spice vibes, and then I love olive green in the fall as well. This quad right here on this end is like the perfect olive green quad, really fun. Yeah, I'm just not quite done with this palette, so this is gonna go in my fall basket as well. This is the Wet n Wild Call Me Sunshine palette. I mainly think of summer when I see this one, but honestly I think this also makes a great fall palette, especially that bottom row. And honestly, I just don't feel like I used this as much in the summer as I wanted to, so I'm gonna put this one back into my basket for the fall as well. I really love warm mustardy tones like this in the fall. I think they're so fun. So that will be going in as well. All right, I've been filling up the basket as I go so that I don't go overboard. And so far we still have plenty of room. So let's pick out some more palettes. This is my bottom drawer. This is where most of my larger palettes are. Okay, one that I know is going directly in that fall basket. This is new from Nomad. This is their Ghost Town USA. First of all, look at this amazing packaging. Okay, I have not even used this yet because it actually just arrived today, but this is what the inside of the palette looks like. Really loving this color story. Definitely not what I would have thought of for a fall color story per se, but I think it fits that ghost theme really well. I love the kind of like cool gray tones in here. And then there's also some fun sprinkling of subtle color. Like I really like these soft greens over here, these soft blues. Yeah, I just think there's a lot of fun looks you could do with this. So that's gonna go in my fall basket for sure. And stay tuned, I do plan to have at least one short doing a look with this palette, if not multiple, because I'm really excited to play with this. An oldie but a goodie. This is a classic, the Estate Mystic Forest palette. Look at that. Is that not the epitome of fall? I love those pumpkin-y orange tones, the olivey shades, the bronzy shimmer in here is my favorite shade. It's so incredibly foiled. And this palette definitely gets me out of my comfort zone because it is so just deep and grungy. I love it. Really excited to get some use out of this. I really don't use it much outside of the fall time, but I love it in the fall. Okay, another one that I've been waiting to put in my fall basket. This is the Ace Beauté Flare palette. And out of all of the Ace Beauté palettes that I've tried over the last year, this is the one I've used the least, simply because it intimidates me. Not only is it colorful, but it's a mix of colors that I don't necessarily know what to do with, but I want to challenge myself and use this some more this fall. I do think that there are a lot of great fall tones in here and just a lot of fall names as well, like cider, pumpkin, hazelnut, a lot of fall-y names. So I think now is a good time to break this out and really get to know it a little bit better. Ooh, you know what palette I've been thinking would be really fun during spooky season, even though this came out around Valentine's Day earlier this year, but this is the Nomad Verona palette. This was my first ever Nomad palette, and the theme of the palette is love and death, but I'm thinking this side over here specifically would make some great spooky season looks. Not necessarily what you would think of as fall colors, but I really like the like mysterious, spooky vibe of this like cooler tone side. And then I also think some of these reds would work well for some Halloween looks. So yeah, this one is definitely going in the basket. All right, this is gonna be the last Nomad palette, but the Okavango Safari palette, I think this is also so perfect for fall with all of these bronzy warm tones and the greens. I love green in the fall, olive greens. I don't know if that's necessarily a fall color per se, but I really like it in the fall, so. But I've been loving this palette all summer. I think it's gonna be really fun in the fall. I think this is just a great beginner-friendly olive palette. Like, I'm someone that doesn't wear olive green a ton just because I find it a little bit tricky to pull off on my skin tone, but this palette makes it really easy. It's got a great range of depth to it, and it's a lot more versatile than you would think, too. Like, you can also keep your look very neutral if you don't want to use any of those greens. There's a lot of great neutral options, and there's even a silver in here that the zebra shade actually ends up silver on the eyes, which is so fun. So really versatile palette, even though it doesn't look that versatile. All right, and then torn on whether to add in, yeah, I'm gonna add this one in too. This is the Alter Ego Goddess palette. This is that green and gold one, mostly neutral, and then there's those two teal shades. but I've been thinking this is going to make such a fun fall palette. I also think this will be really fun around the holidays. Like, I love a green and gold look around the holidays. I think it's so classic, but we're not quite there yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. It is, well, it's literally still summer, so let's not get too excited. Definitely feeling inspired to use this some more. So Goddess is going in. This one I want to put back in also, the Flower Desert Lights palette. I did see that Flower came out with 2 new lights palettes. Really excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing some swatches because the photos on Ulta are not very flattering. I'll be honest, I did not feel tempted to buy them based on those pictures alone, but I most likely will be picking up at least one of them, if not both, soon. But yesterday I used the Desert Lights palette again. This was also in my summer basket, but I'm just really feeling inspired to use this again, so I'm gonna put it in my fall basket too. I think these make some great fall tones. I love the like mid-toned, bronzy, rosy colors for an all-over one shadow look. I also really surprisingly like this dark shade. It doesn't look like much in the pan, but it makes a beautiful bronzy liner or outer corner shade. It picks up really well on a brush, so that's typically how I use it. And it's actually made this palette a lot more of a complete palette for me. Like, I can use just this palette for a complete look. There won't be any matte shades, of course, but you can definitely get a good, solid look out of this. So I'm going to put this back in my basket because I just don't want to put it away just yet. Okay, so the basket's getting full. There are 14 palettes in here. I want to pick one more to bring it up to a nice even 15. I always like to have my Lethal Custom palette in my palette basket because this is the custom palette that I put together to work for all seasons. So there's a lot of great fall tones in here. Really, this quad down here of these 4 shades are what I think of as like the fall section of the palette. And I also think that yellow would be really pretty in the fall, and this taupe as well. I always love a taupe. So I do have a video where I made this palette. I can link it below, but this I think will round out the basket really nicely. Okay, so everything fit in the basket just barely, but I am so excited to use these palettes throughout the fall, create some looks with them, and I'm really just so excited for fall makeup. I could not be more ready. So stay tuned. I definitely plan to use these palettes in various different looks, in regular videos, in shorts. Let me know if there are any here specifically that you would like to see more looks with. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope this inspired you to search through your own collection for your favorite fall palettes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. If you had fun, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hopefully I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye!